Welcome back to the SolidWorks Live here at the SolidWorks Live studio in the 3D Experience Playground at 3D Experience World 2020. Boy, Mark, it feels like we've been saying that an awful lot this week.
Yeah, we sure have. That's for sure, yeah.
We just came back from lunch. We wanted to check in with everybody on the live stream before we kick off the last half day of our schedule. We hope you've definitely enjoyed everything we've had to offer this morning with all the interviews with Sam Rogers, Eric Haddad, general session we had this morning. Pretty exciting stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But we have a lot more to come this afternoon. I think one of the next items we're going to be broadcasting is probably going to be a fan favorite. You want to tell us a little bit about what we're going to see?
We're going to see the announcement of the winners of Model Mania and the 3D Experience Challenge, I believe.
Yeah, so at 12:30 Central Time, so in about 4 minutes, we're going to kick over to those guys, and they're going to announce the winners, both from customers and resellers. Mark Schneider and Michael Steves will be presenting this at the Partner Theater here in the 3D Experience Playground. Hoping there's a large crowd. We'll actually end up walking over there to kind of view from the back as well. But
I'm really excited about this, and the reason is because with Model Mania, you have there's a lot of really amazing SolidWorks users here that know like every shortcut, every trick in the book. But somehow Mark Schneider and team, they create these parts that there's something else that maybe you don't know, and it's just that extra little that little bit that's gonna make you first or second or third place, and it always comes down to just like a very short amount of time. It's just seconds. Like it's just, so you can imagine clicking through this part, trying to build this part, and then having to make some changes to it and get all of the answers right and everything. It's a tough task, and we have some phenomenal CAD users here that are really cranking these, or really getting some good times on these. So
and Michael Steves gave every attendee the opportunity to jump on the 3D Experience platform, design some components both in X Design and X Shape, which are part of 3D Creator and 3D Sculptor. And they got to share their designs, their unique interpretations of the biodata on the 3D Experience platform within a community, and they were voted on by participants who were following the community.
Yeah, we've done a lot of voting throughout the past couple of days with your 3D Experience ID or your SolidWorks ID.
Yeah.
And this is just another one of those things where everything's kind of in the community, and if you're a part of that community, you can jump in there and participate, which is great.
Speaking of voting, we're actually later on this afternoon, we're going to have an interview with the winning hackathon team from yesterday in the 3D Experience for Good. So that was announced this morning, Team 3, I believe. We'll let them share what made their design unique and the winning design. We're also, speaking of 3D Experience for Good, we're going to have Danielle Boyer from Every Kid Gets a Robot. And they're working right over there right now building robots for, I think she wanted to get 150 kits built, she said this morning. And they've enlisted the help of attendees. Yeah,
I mean, they're really cool. I went over there and kind of, played around with them when nobody was looking, just to kind of see what they're comprised of. And I believe she'll bring one here, but it's a really fantastic design, and I love just how it can almost be built anywhere, and it can be distributed. So it's a really great design, and I was really impressed with it.
Yeah, and then we'll cap off the day today. We have a bunch of interviews, not just those, so definitely stay tuned. Later on today, we're going to be broadcasting an all-time attendee and customer favorite, the SolidWorks Top 10 breakout session with Bruce Holloway and John Sweeney. Yep. This is going to be something customers really look forward to. We invite our customers to participate in the top 10, submit their ideas, and community vote on it. And they're going to reveal what those are and what are some of the future plans. Yeah,
we've done this for years, and honestly, it's one of the best places that the SolidWorks development team and R&D can go to figure out, what are the things that our current users, really want in the new iteration of the software. And many of those top 10 make it into the next year's release or the one after that.
So big schedule ahead of us, but like we said, we want to get over to the Model Mania winners where Mark Schneider and Michael Steves are going to announce the winners. So go join us over there.
have the traditional SolidWorks challenge, but we also expanded it and did a 3D Experience challenge. So I'll run through the SolidWorks challenge as we've done for 21 years now, and Michael will run you through the 3D Experience challenge next. What Model Mania is, for those of you who are not familiar with, is we have these booths right over here where you go in, you sit down, and you model some parts. So these are some parts that we've done in the past. For Model Mania 2020, as I said, you sit down and you model a part. We give you a drawing that looks something like this, and then we ask you to make a change to that. So all those changes are highlighted in those bubbles. So you'll make a change to that part, run a quick simulation on that part. Whoever gets it done, accuracy, or it's graded on accuracy first, and then it's graded on time. So whoever gets the part done fastest is the winner. So what do you win? We had some really great prizes again this year: $500 gift card, $400 gift card, and $250. So first, second, and third. Resellers compete against resellers, and our users compete against our users. So we'll get six prizes for the Model Mania SolidWorks challenge, and 6 prizes for the 3D Experience challenge as well. Without further ado, we'll go through the winners. So I'll announce the winners. You guys, if you're here, come up on stage over here by Michael, and then we'll actually run through a solution of how you can actually model it and make the changes. So start with our user champions. In third place, Eric Snyder from ECCO Block. I have a son named Eric Schneider. It's spelled different, but no relation.
Congratulations.
Cody Laughlin from Edgewater Automation. Come on up if you're here, Cody.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Congratulations. Yeah.
And our first place champion, Noah Clark from Lincoln Electric. Come on up, Lincoln, if you're here. His time was 16 minutes, 21 seconds. He was the fastest overall, fastest than the reseller champion. So let's talk about our reseller champions. In third place, Guilherme Kastner from SKA in Brazil. Come on up, Guilherme. Second place, Rodney Harper from CATI. And our first place champion for the resellers is Boss Kuman from Cadmus with a time of 16 minutes, 59 seconds. All right, so I'll run through a solution how you can do this. It was really interesting this year to see the variety of methods and techniques that people chose to build this part. Some people started with the cylindrical boss here. Some people started with just this arm and then extruded from there. Some people drew everything into one sketch. All different kinds of ways to do it this year. It was really interesting to see how they did it. So if I look at this, I always think the first thing, the main part of this thing is that centerpiece. So that's where I started, is on the centerpiece. A lot of people started with just drawing one of these arms and patterning it around. So we have some dimensions here, the 22 degree angle on this, but if you notice, it's not picking up tangency. So we're going to need to figure out how to terminate that back there. This 22 millimeter dimension in here is one that we need to keep track of. And then we have this sloped face here. So if you look at this, it's kind of all one surface. That's all one surface. That's actually a conical face that's defined by this 112 degree angle. So if you think about this, if I draw this in there, how high do I extrude this arm up here? You're going to have to extrude it up to there. So we'll walk through how we do that. So let's get started here. All right, so we're going to start on the top plane. As I mentioned, the way I thought of this, I thought of that central portion of the model is the center of my model, so we'll go ahead and draw a couple circles in. 22 millimeters, 16 millimeters, and then I will add another construction line. I like to use construction lines. It's a visual tell that this is horizontal. We'll add another circle. We'll draw a line that's tangent off of that 12 millimeter circle, and then we'll terminate that, but I'm not quite sure where to terminate it yet. We'll mirror it to the other side. And the way I'll do this is we'll add our dimension of 22 degrees. And then I will just draw a vertical line in here so that comes down, and I'll add a relationship to make that a midpoint relationship. So my sketch is fully constrained. Now I'm going to go ahead and extrude it. I'm just going to grab 2 of these contours right here, just both of those, and we'll just drag this up to make our 22 millimeter height for that cylindrical boss there. There's our first feature. We will turn on the sketch again, so we can reuse some of the geometry in that sketch. But as I mentioned before, how am I going to do this? How am I going to terminate that feature when I bring this up here? So I said, I'll go on the side view here and draw in a line and revolve that around as a surface. So now I have something to extrude up to. Some people extruded it up and then cut away. All those things work. This is just my method for doing that. Edit our dimension. So we'll add a dimension at the bottom. That's got to be 6. But how do I terminate this line here? The way I did that is I just drew in a construction line, just draw that down vertical, and then I'm going to add a pierce relationship between the endpoint and that circle. So that always locks my sketch down. I know if the length of that arm changes, my angle sketch there will change as well. I'm going to do a surface revolve. We'll just revolve that around. You can see how that looks there. Now we'll take that sketch that we previously created, and I'm going to extrude that. We'll use some contours here. Just grab a couple contours and extrude that up. I don't have to worry, since I'm working on this same model, I don't have to worry about combining and doing multi-body stuff here. This will all be a single body. Tab key, I can use the tab key to hide that surface there, and that goes away. Now we're going to put these counterbore holes in there. So this is an M4 counterbore hole, and I'm going to place that right on that top face of the cylindrical body. And I'll go ahead and position that, but that's not the right size. I want it to be 4 millimeters from the bottom. So these sketches inside of the Hole Wizard are editable. So I'm just going to go into that sketch and move that extension line for that dimension to the bottom and make that 4. Could have changed the dimension, could have done all different kinds of things, but those sketches are editable, and you can make those changes very easily. We'll hide our sketch, and we'll take these 2 features and pattern it around three of them equally spaced. So those, we now have that. The next thing we need to do is put those 22 millimeter fillets in here. So I just use the selection helper here and just grab all the connected faces that go along with that, or the similar edges that go along with that, make that 22 millimeters. And then we need to put those 1 millimeter fillets that wrap all around everything. Just choose 2 edges here and it takes care of everything for us. I like to add a little color to those. It helps me visualize that, you know, how this fillet actually runs. As I make changes, I can visually see how that works. That's certainly not necessary. Last thing we want to do is we want to apply the material. The material's called out on the drawing. It was because we asked before you can finish, you have to enter a weight. So there's phase 1. Everything's done. Pretty straightforward there. This thing's making noise. I think I'm breathing into it. Sorry. Okay, so here's phase 2. We give you this, you're done with that, we give you this drawing. Everything that's in red, you got to make changes. So let's take a look. 3 by 8, so all 3 of these arms now go from 22 degrees down to 8 degrees. I see 3, these are all offsets. I see a 3 offset there, a 3 offset there, so it kind of tells me maybe I can shell that. I can shell those out to get that to work. And then the other thing is this radius change here, so I got to change that to 30. Got to redo some fillets over here. We'll redo our fillets, and then we're going to apply a load here and hold these blue faces and run a simulation to get the factor of safety. Here's the load directions called out. So let's see how we approach that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into that feature, and I'm going to change that from 22 degrees down to 8. That went pretty well. No problems there, no problems. But I got to do that shelling that I talked about. Get those offsets in there, however you want to, however you created that. We'll do a 3 millimeter shell. Turn our preview on. That looks about right. That's going to be pretty good there. So that went pretty well, pretty easy too. Now we're going to come to those big 22 millimeter fillets. So if you look at how that 22 millimeter fillet was there, I can't really just put that back in there. I don't want to model material back in there. So I'm just going to suppress that. I don't want to work with that one anymore. To swallow this face here, I'm going to use a face fillet. The face fillet will allow me to choose those 2 faces, and it'll create the fillet across there. See how that works? Hit the Enter key, fillet command comes up again. Choose 2 more faces, I get another 22. Choose 2 more faces, get another 22. Face fillet, whenever I think I have to swallow a face like that, I always think face fillet. And then our 1 millimeter fillets, I got a missing edge, I get it, no problem. instead of trying to go grab all those faces or edges, I'm just going to fillet the shell feature. When I fillet the shell feature, it fillets everything, but this fillet I don't want. So I'll just use delete face command and delete that one fillet off of there, and then I have my part, the geometry for that part's all done. The next thing we need to do is run our simulation. I like to use, you can use SolidWorks Simulation or Simulation Express. I like to use SolidWorks Simulation. We ask you to hold those 3 planar faces from the counterbore hole. So we'll go ahead and grab those 3. Then we'll add a force to that central cylindrical face there and provide a direction. I don't want it to be normal. I want to provide a direction there. Just use an edge for the direction, and I'll put the force in of 2,000 newtons. And in this case, from the icons, I can see I need to reverse the direction. Force is applied. All I need to do now. Oh, I need to, since I am using multi-body and I didn't delete body, I have to exclude that surface body from my simulation so it doesn't bark at me and say I don't have material defined for it. So next thing we do is we run our simulation. We get a stress plot. I always like to animate this to see if it's behaving as I expected. That helps me understand whether or not I have applied my loads and boundary conditions properly. And then we ask for what's the factor of safety. Factor of safety is 3.1, somewhere around 3. So if you got there, you're one of the champions. So that's Model Mania 2020. Another big round of applause for our champions. If you came late and you want to come up, boss, go ahead and stay up here. You can stay. We'll get a picture later after Michael runs through everything.
Yeah, and we got our prizes for you, too.
We got another
stick
one.
Around. Rodney. Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, Rodney.
Good job.
Thank you. Rodney, congratulations. So I'm going to turn it over to Michael, and he's going to run through the 3D Experience challenge.
Mark, my hands are sweaty. Every time you take me through Model Mania, I get those nerves again. Like
you got a problem, my friend.
I do. It's stress. I'm not the only one. I know that. So we expanded Model Mania this year, like Mark mentioned, by introducing the 3D Experience Challenge. So here you can see, these are like the honorable mentions, if you will, of some of the things that you guys created.
Way to go, man.
What is the 3D Experience Challenge? We'll take a look at what the workflow looked like, but I wanted to make this stress-free. Walk up, sit down, have some fun with some of the roles on the 3D Experience platform. So we used a couple apps, XDesign and XShape, and we modeled up a part. Yeah. I had a basic drawing up there for you to go through some basic sketching, basic extrudes, create a cut. But then from there, it was up to you. You were able to create kind of whatever you wanted associated with this BioDapt VF2 foot. So we made this little bracket. There it is. And you can colorize it, put some color on it. We had this pre-built assembly for you that you can bring it in. Check out the mating in XDesign. Check out the assembly motion. And if you wanted, the choice was yours. You could use XShape, and just hitting X on the keyboard does an app switch. So you don't have to close or reopen anything to get into some of that sub-D modeling. So here you can see some other examples. From there, when you were ready, we published it to the 3D Experience World community. This is the same community that we used this morning in the general session for voting. So while you're in there, you can take a look at all the submissions of everybody at 3D Experience World. So what's really cool, I'm going to save my winners to the end because I want to show you how I'm able to kind of vote here. Because what this ended up being was kind of a popularity contest. All these posts went onto the 3D Experience World community, and you shared your post. Not only was it visible to everyone there, you were able to take a link unique to your post, put it on your Facebook, your Twitter, your social media. I even saw a couple people out last night at the party pulling up each other's posts and giving each other likes. So you can take a look at this now. Go to solidworks.com/3DXW20. That'll take you to the community. You can use the search right at the top, put in Model Mania. That gives you all the posts, kind of all filtered together. What's really powerful here, it makes my job really easy to grade this and pick out the winners, is since we used 4 unique accounts, I can just filter all the posts for those 4 accounts. Go into endorsements, these are our likes. And there's our most liked posts. John, hold the applause. I'll announce in a second. Give a little teaser there of who got first place. So yeah, the most liked post was right there, and you can see all the different varying number of likes and engagements. So I thought it was a great use of the platform. Made my job easy, Mark. All right, so let's take a look at our user champions. In third place, Nicholas Brown with Inceptra. If you're here, come on up. Second place, Lynette Frey, Northwest Community College. And in first place, Amy Hamilton, Sleepy Hill Middle School. It's very cool to see, I'm getting emotional too, Amy. It's very cool to see the effort that you put into this, because you were telling me your story and being able to share this with your community. Awesome. It's awesome. Okay, reseller champions. So congratulations to our winners. Stick around up here. We'll get a picture with all of us. We have our prizes for you, so thank you so much for coming. We'll see you again next year at Model Mania, the SolidWorks Challenge, 3D Experience Challenge. Feel free to come on up. We've got some 3D printed parts out here if you want to check out. Otherwise, have a great rest of your world.
We also have some free t-shirts also at the Certified Market Theater, so if you want, grab a couple t-shirts. They're all free, so free is free.